Habaragani, brothers and sisters, Habaragani. We've made it to day 3 of Kwanzaa. Ujima. Day 3 of Kwanzaa. Ujima. December 28th. What a wonderful feeling. For me, the most important day of the year. The most important day of the year when the edges of the year meet. So let me just take you a little refresher. First of all, let's have a little refresher as to what Kwanzaa is about. And then we'll make it roll again from here where we give you the specifics about this day. All right? So we'll just a little refresher.
We call it Umoja, unity, unity. The second day of Kwanzaa, Kujichagulia, self-determination. The third day of Kwanzaa, we call it Ujima, collective work and responsibility. The fourth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Ujima, cooperative economics. The fifth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Leah, purpose, purpose. I have a purpose. The sixth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Boomba, creativity, creativity. The last day of Kwanzaa, we say Imani, that's what we call faith. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration.
Yes, we welcome you one more time to our Kwanzaa celebration. Just to remind folks who are probably just new to this, I have been celebrating Kwanzaa since 1970. It's an integral part of my being, an integral part of my life. This is how I see the universe. This for me is the most important week of the year when the edges of the years meet. And I use this last week of the year to clarify and purify so that I can now plan effectively going into the brand new year. So each day we go through one principle. Now, a little review. We've gone through the first day, Umoja, unity. Just a reminder that unity does not mean uniformity. So we don't all have to sing exactly the same song, do exactly the same thing, but we must be united. So it's this time we evaluate all the entities that you wish to be united with. Your family, your work group, your social tribes, and understand, is it working? Do you need to drop out of some of these groups? Do you need some changes? Do you need to evaluate and revalue the terms of your engagement. Okay? Day two, Kujichaga Leah talks about self-determination. This is really beautifully juxtaposed against the collective unity. What is your sense of purpose? What is your sense of purpose? Why are you here? I love the concept of Dharma. What Dharma says that, look, in the same way that your fingerprint and DNA is unique, it's one of you. The universe created one of you. Why? What are you put here to do? And here's the wonderful thing about this. If you discover why you're here and you do serve your purpose while you're here, you will be incredibly rewarded. We also talk about the Japanese construct of ikigai. Ikigai said it is not just blind purpose, what you want. It's a combination of things. One, do you love what you're doing? Great. Two, are you good at it? If not, get the skills. Three, does the world need it? Four, are they willing to pay for it? With all these four lined up, you are in ikigai. So that if one of these is not in place, you use some time this week to see what you're going to do to make it work. Okay? So that's a little review as we move forward now to this day. Day 3 of Kwanzaa. Now, what do we talk about for this day? Very simple. This day is Ujima, collective works and responsibility. Collective works and responsibility. Reminds us of our obligation to the past, the present, and the future. We have a role to play in the community, the society, and the world. We are in this thing together. We are in this together. Collective works and responsibility. The African proverb said it takes a village to raise a child. We have heard that so many times. It is our responsibility to build and maintain our community together, to make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems and solve them together. No man is an island. Huh? What do? They say teamwork makes the dream work. So what is the dream you have for your community? How can you help? What's the dream you have for your people? What's the dream you have for your family? What is a need in your community? It needs to be cleaned up. The hungry needs to be fed. You need a shelter. You need a food bank. You need to tutor students. Even something as simple as babysitting for a parent in need so they can get a break. It doesn't matter how big or small, collective work and responsibility. Each one of us can do something to make the other's burden a little lighter. A little lighter. For the last 20 years or so, I've been integrating Kwanzaa into what I call the new world of work, the new work order. And this reminds about the whole thing of collective works and responsibility, talks about the importance of cross-training and continuous education. Be aware that anyone who is entering the world of work now will be changing careers at least 6 times in their lifetime. So we will all need to learn brand new skills every year. There's a saying, by Alvin Toffler, that the illiterate of the 21st century are those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn, a continuous process. On this third day of Kwanzaa, we celebrate Ujima, collective works and responsibility. So today we renew our efforts to build and maintain our community while working with others to solve our problems. We can do so together, collectively. In traditional Africa and the Caribbean and the south of the United States, when farmers work together to clean the land and bring each other's crops, that was what Ujima was taking place. When immigrants form small, tight-knit groups for circulating money, in Jamaica it's called partner. Some places call it box hand, some call it susu, some call it ikubu. That is Ujima, collective works and responsibility. When a friend is moving and you and others all pitch in to help them move, at the end of the day, we sit down together and share a meal. That is Ujima, collective works and responsibility. When students in class work together on a project or help each other with their assignment, that is the spirit of Ujima. And on the court, when you're playing ball, the ball is freely flowing from player to player, effortlessly, selflessly, until one clearly has an open shot. That is Ujima. The sound of the ball snapping through the net, Ujima. When a band is jamming, whether in the basement, on the corner, or on the stage, you'll always hear one instrument wailing a piercing, plaintive note. Ujima! It seems to cry. Yes, that is Ujima, that collective works and responsibility. We are all individuals and we must recognize our individuality. But we are also a people, a community, a whole, living thing that moves as one. To the extent that we allow, no will. It will be so. We will all win if we practice Ujima, collective works and responsibility. Let me give an example how this is personified in human capital and social capital working together to build rural Jamaica. Human capital and social capital. Look, no finance, just human capital and social capital. In Jamaica, they have something traditional communities called day for day, morning sport. You're farming. You have about 5 acres to plow up and to plant out. The community comes and assists you. And when they assist you, job gets done quicker, efficiently. All you got to do when it's the other neighbor's time to get their farming done, you give a hand to. The whole community benefits. In rural Jamaica, traditionally, you're building a house, the entire community comes together to help you to dig out the foundation. Different days, the community comes together with you to help you to do aspects of it. One of the most classical part of it in Jamaica, even still today, you're building a house, you get to the point where you're casting concrete. There's no way you can do it by yourself enough so the concrete doesn't harden up on you. So neighbors come together to mix and move the concrete so that you get to cast the concrete where it doesn't start having cracks. Yes, collective work and responsibility is still practiced. Let me share with you my own personal human capital experience. There's a family, the Lewin family from Clarendon, Desire. Through their love and friendship, my mother, who used to work at a very menial job in a factory downtown, Princess Street, Kingston, Jamaica, they invited my mother to come up. So she got a visa to visit. While she was there, they assisted her to get a job. Not exactly legal, but again, we're helping out each other. And my mother got a job with a psychiatrist, Central Park West, as a housekeeper. That shifted my life significantly. My mother could now send money back to Jamaica to board me while I was still in high school. So I lived so much better. So many Jamaican families live so much better because one person helped a member of that family to get to the United States. They can now start sending money back. When I was 16 and in lower six, it became clear to me that I could not go much further in school because at that time we had no student loan bureau. There was no way for a poor family, a poor child to afford university education. So I informed my mother that I am now coming to the United States to make a living, to get a job and find my way through life. I got there on a Saturday. My mother gave me a application form for Bronx Community College. I told her, sorry, mom, not good enough. My plans are bigger than that. She said that's all she can afford. And her friend told her it's a very good school. I said, Mom, my plans are bigger than that. All I'm asking you is for money to buy a newspaper. My mother gave me 25 cents. I'm very specific because with what she told me, this is her narrative. I took 25 cents and made life. How was that? I bought a newspaper this Sunday. I saw one job, chemical lab technician. I had O-level chemistry and physics and maths, etc., etc., etc. I applied for the job on the Monday. I got an interview on the Wednesday. I started working the Thursday. At the end of the week, and I was excited. So I looked around for what was the nearest college to where I live. That was City College. So I applied at the end of the month and I got in. One job, one college. Now, what happened? Take a look at this. Rural, urban, poor assisting each other. Get to New York. My first job at 16, Adhesive Products, Bronx, New York. Applied and got into CCNY. Completed my bachelor's degree. It took me 5 years because I was working all the way through. But then I did so well, I got 4 offers to do my PhD. I chose Rutgers, did master's and PhD. I got a pre-doc fellowship at ETS in Princeton, and also a postdoc fellowship when I completed my PhD. I was on the faculty of Cornell University, where I was voted the best teacher in Cornell in my second year on the faculty. I returned to Jamaica, University of the West Indies, and the College of Agriculture on the faculty. And then in the early 90s, I started my own business, Leahcim Semaj and Company, and now Above or Beyond Incorporate, both in the United States and Jamaica. Now you understand this, folks. This is human capital and social capital working together. Collective work. How one family helps another family. One family helps another family. And life has been transformed. What's the results? These are my children now. One daughter is a Supreme Court justice in New York. Another daughter has a PhD and on the faculty at the University of the West Indies. Another daughter, a master teacher and master education, focusing on decolonizing education. My 2 sons, degrees completed, are entrepreneurs. My youngest daughter is now completing her law degree. Poor family. All happened when you connected with assistance from your family just to get you to a place where you could now unleash the human potential. This is an example of how it works. We are here to serve and save each other. That's what this day tells us. Love your life. Take pictures of everything. Tell people you love them. Talk to random strangers. Do things that you're scared of doing. So many of us die and no one remember a thing we did. Take your life and make it the best story in the world. Do not waste it. Share it with as many people as you can. Absolutely necessary that you do so. We are here to serve and save each other. Proverbs 27:17 says, Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. We are here to serve and save each other. How are you doing? Iron sharpeneth iron. Who is helping to sharpen you? You are where you are because someone helped to sharpen you. So what are you doing to pay it forward? Mother Teresa says, if you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. That's how the collective work and responsibility goes. Just do what you can. Just feed one. That's enough. But you do your part. Now, I want to close off with this thing. This is the day Ujima. Let's talk about, I call something Ujima supreme, the ultimate level. And listen to me carefully now. If there was an emergency in your life, medical or otherwise, A, who could you call? Can you immediately think of somebody you could call that you could count on in a major emergency? Or B, who would you respond to if they called you in a major emergency? Can you identify the person or the persons? It is said that that there are many, many people who the answer to both of these questions, there'll be nobody. There are many people have nobody to call because of the way they live with people. In a major emergency, they have no one to call. Even worse, there are persons who live in such a manner that no one would call them in a major emergency. So this is your test today. If you're not satisfied with this answer, do something about it. There's a line from Marley's song, Exodus. Are you satisfied with the life you're living? Are you satisfied? Ujima Supreme. If there was an emergency, who could you call? Who would call you and you would respond? That's what it's all about. That's what life comes down to. So in summary,
Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. The first day of Kwanzaa, we call it Umoja, unity, unity. The second day of Kwanzaa, Ujima, self-determination. The third day of Kwanzaa, we call it Ujima, collective work and responsibility. The fourth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Ujima, cooperative economics. The fifth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Leah, purpose, purpose. I have a purpose. The sixth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Boomba, creativity, creativity. The last day of Kwanzaa, we say Imani, that's what we call faith. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration.
okay, folks. So here we go. So we've completed day 3, and please, I want you to reflect on this today. Reflect on it. It is my pleasure to serve and share this with you, my brothers and sisters. So the way we do it in the day, you ask, Habaragani. What is that? Asking, what's the news? Habaragani. The answer is the principle of the day, Ujima. Ujima, collective works and responsibility. So until we meet again tomorrow, Kwanzaa greetings, and please reflect on that collective works and responsibility. And remember what I considered Ujima Supreme. Who would you call? Who would you respond to? Major emergency.